After being released not once, but 3 times, a convicted triple murderer returned to the streets, and almost immediately, women began disappearing along the Texas I-35 corridor. What followed was a brutal killing spree, a multi-agency manhunt, and a case that exposed deep corruption inside the parole system. By the time it ended, the body count was still uncertain, and the damage was already done. This is the conclusion of our series on Kenneth McDuff. I'm Mike.
I'm Ian.
And I'm Dave. If you thought ending up on death row was pretty final, what about ending up there a second time? Stick around. If at first you don't succeed, try again. This is Necronomipod. Gentlemen, March Madness is over, and I am once again victorious in our pool, in our bracket. Mine is the winning bracket.
That's right.
As it was a couple years ago. I'm not back-to-back, but I've won a couple times in the past few years. I will tell you that ChatGPT did my entire winning bracket, gave me a little help. The bracket that I actually did by hand came in last place in the tournament.
Nice.
You bookended the entire thing.
I did.
At one point, we almost swept the top 3 spots.
Yeah, we were in first, second, third, and fourth for a while. I think 2 of Ian's were in
That's crazy.
the top 4.
So you both did 2. See, I didn't. I just did 1
No.
Yeah.
by hand. What did I end up? Michigan
4th?
winning fucked me out of a place, out of a pay.
Yeah, you ended up in 4th.
With a team that was eliminated in the second round. I don't understand how that works.
Yeah. My last place one, I had UConn winning, and even UConn getting to the finals didn't save that bracket from coming in last place. So it tells you how bad it was.
How shit is your bracket? Well, you had a correct final. I wonder what your final 4 correction was on that.
No, I don't remember.
Like if you tell me you had 2 or 3 out of the final 4 correct.
I had UConn and Duke.
Duke didn't make it, right?
No.
They were Elite 8. They got out. Eliminated.
Oh, that doesn't track. You can't have UConn and Duke in the final. I don't remember.
UConn beat Duke, right?
Yeah. Couldn't have had both of them. I don't remember now. Yeah.
Well, congratulations to...
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you.
Excuse me. Let me finish. Congratulations, ChatGPT, on that bracket victory.
It was nice, though, because I had a big FanDuel bet on UConn. And by the time we got to the last game last night, I would have won the pool regardless of whether
you'd clinched.
I had already won it. So I did not end up, fortunately, having to root for Michigan last night because that goes against everything in my DNA. So
they were so fucking good.
Yeah.
Nobody was touching them.
Yeah. It was a lot closer than I thought it would be. But
It was.
I would have cashed significantly more money if UConn would have won. But that's all right.
That was a nice little payday for you yesterday, then.
Not bad at all. So until next year.
You're just going to go ahead and put that money right back into betting?
Oh, yeah. I've been doing good the past couple weeks.
There was, God damn it, I had something to talk about, and I slipped my mind as soon as we started going. Well, shit.
Was it your penis?
It was not my penis.
Okay.
I don't think. Could have been. It's
I always like to
50-50.
talk about that.
I had to talk about my penis. We started a new blog on our website. I made a post today, the first of hopefully many to come. I get into some March Madness on that.
Nice.
Just ramblings of whatever, but it's an introductory post, so go check that out. The new and improved Necronomipod.com. We're going to try to keep that updated. Ian's going to put on some show stuff, blog posts. I'll put up some blog posts. The whole idea of mine started around just trying and reviewing fast food shit and anything else out there, dollar store cheeseburgers and gas station hot dogs. And so it'll be some of that. It'll just be some ramblings about various things. Maybe if people want to hear about something, let us know and we'll see what we can do.
All right. Good for you, man.
Well, it's something.
Should I blog? I don't want to blog. I'm going to leave it to you.
Okay. I'll handle it. If you want me to blog about something, I'll blog. Per the office of Dave Namapod.
That sounds great.
That would be funny, actually.
Be the boomer blog.
There you go. That's a good one.
Back when I was a boy, we didn't have these blogs, these B-logs.
You had me at alliteration. What else is going on? Anything else new, exciting, fun?
I can't say that I have anything new to talk about. No, spring is kind of here. It's a little cold this week. I'm waiting for it to get a little warmer.
By the weekend, right? It's supposed to get back up to the 70s.
Yeah.
Be nice.
I called for one last blizzard here in the Cleveland area. It doesn't seem like that's going to happen, so I'm glad I was wrong.
There was snow.
There was a little snow yesterday. Yes.
Didn't stick. Yeah.
So, yeah. Just living life, man. Living large and loving life.
Yeah. Pretty much, right?
What else do you want?
The higher ups at Cool Down bought me a little keyboard last week.
Oh, nice.
To go with my my bass and all my pedals and shit. Working on some music for a future Cool Down project, maybe.
Nice.
Good stuff. Yeah.
I'm glad they approved that. They still haven't approved a desk for me for a remote recording.
No, yeah.
That's still sitting on someone's desk somewhere.
I didn't see that request come anywhere.
All right. Well, let's jump back into our old pal Kenny boy over here.
A nice guy, this one.
Yeah,
Real
he's swell.
peach. Real peach.
The most egregious parole board stuff ever.
Without a doubt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just come on. It's hard to believe it's even real.
Yeah, it's got the same vibes as like something like Dean Coral. Remember how the police like had the fucking inmates out there digging up bodies and stuff? Like it didn't even sound real. Like it's just weird.
Yeah.
I forgot all about that.
That's kind of what this sound like. This parole board, like it just, it doesn't sound real. But at the end of part one, Kenneth was out. He had been released 3 times, paroled in October 1989, sent back on a parole violation for chasing a black teenager down an alley with a knife, released again in December 1990, violated again, and released a 3rd time. By 1991, he was living in a dorm at Texas State Technical College in Waco, dealing crack, LSD, meth, and weed to other students, and spending his nights driving the I-35 corridor looking for women. We joked about it last week that he was like, he's in his 40s now, like, why is he in a dorm? Every source that I looked at said dorm, that he was living in these dorms. So
I believe it. I just, who in the fucking residential offices was like, yeah, let's do that. That makes sense. Let's put him with 18-year-old co-eds.
Is it possible they didn't know? Like he took over someone's apartment or someone's dorm room that was going there or something. I really find it hard to believe that he just like enrolled.
It's funnier if they approve it though.
It is. It's just imagine. Yeah, you send your daughter there.
Yeah,
this fucking jerk off's living there.
While he was driving around with various people, he had a habit of pointing out women on the street and telling whoever he was in the car with which ones that he wanted to, quote, take. Kind of like he was like shopping. On the night of October 10th, 1991, Kenneth picked up a woman named Brenda Thompson outside a place in Waco called The Cut. It's an open-air market for drugs and sex. Brenda was 36, addicted to crack, and working as a sex worker. At some point after she got into Kenneth's truck, he tied her up. As he was driving, he saw a police checkpoint and stopped about 50 feet away. An officer started walking toward the truck. Brenda kicked at the windshield as hard as she could, cracking it several times, doing everything she could to get the officer's attention. Kenneth hit the gas and drove straight at the police. 3 officers had to jump out of the way to avoid getting hit. They chased him, but Kenneth turned off his headlights and started driving the wrong way down one-way streets until he lost them. And like nothing the police can do here because this is like a really like just quiet night, normal traffic stop thing. They were in no way expecting this dude to peel out.
And then caught off guard, having to jump out of the way.
Right.
It's not like they had time to get their pistols out and smoke them through the windshield like they would today.
Kenneth drove to an area off of U.S. Route 84, about 9 miles north of Waco. It's like a wooded area. Brenda was still tied up. And what happened after that, we know from what investigators found when her body was recovered 7 years later. She had been raped, tortured to death. The specific details of what Kenneth did to her were never laid out in court testimony because Kenneth was never tried for Brenda's murder. But multiple sources on this case kind of lay out the same thing, that because of the scene that Brenda made at that checkpoint, like trying to save her own life, made what Kenneth did to her worse.
Not surprising.
5 days later, on October 15th, Kenneth was at a motel in Waco with a woman named Regina Moore. Regina's age varies depending on which source you're looking at. Some things say that she was 17, others say that she was 21. Regardless, she was working as a sex worker, and witnesses at the motel saw her arguing with Kenneth. But at some point, I don't know what happened exactly, right? But she ended up in the cab of Kenneth's pickup truck, and a separate witness saw her kicking and screaming as the truck drove through the area. Kenneth drove her to a remote spot along Highway 6 near Waco, and he tied her arms and legs with stockings, raped her, strangled her. And this sounded just like another thing, like a shady place, right? And if somebody sees that, they're just going about their business. They're not going to go call the police over it.
It's like, don't involve yourself. Just stay the fuck away. I don't need any of that hassle.
Yeah.
That's usually true for the most part, but I don't know. We see a woman screaming being abducted in the cab of a truck, and can't call.
You would think you would. You would like to do so, but maybe it's just also not the best of people hanging out here.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe they're up to their own shady activities.
They weren't sending their best and brightest to this motel.
I feel like this motel, like people that maybe did stuff with that open air drug and sex thing probably had hung out around this motel too.
Kind of people that probably stick their arms in the vending machines and try to steal Snickers and Skittles, Dave, and RC Colas. That kind of shady bunch.
Never heard of such a thing.
I bet you 100% did that, didn't you? Had the coat hanger, the wire coat hanger up.
Come on, man. I had the video game slug. I'm not stealing the fucking snacks, dude.
I thought you'd steal the snacks and then sell them on the streets for make a profit.
Sell them on the streets.
Whatever you guys do.
I had a paper route, man. I worked since I was fucking 11 years old, pal.
There was no kids on the paper route you could sell little Skittles to?
I like that arcade slug thing.
Yeah, that was good, though.
That's cool.
Well, don't charge 25 cents back in the day for one game. Yeah. I wasn't very good. I was done and lost my 3 lives. Can't afford to keep up that pace.
You weren't a good Pac-Man player?
No.
That is true, man. Like thinking about old arcade games, like think about Donkey Kong, right?
Yeah.
Like it's hard for the average person to get to level 3 on Donkey Kong. Like,
sure it is.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you're just fucking like pissing away quarters.
Come on.
Just cash.
That.
Just raking in the cash.
Yeah.
I've been back on an N64 kick, and I think I had told you guys, I don't know if it was on the show or not, but I bought NASCAR 2000, which is the most recent N64 game you could get. I used to play a lot of NASCAR games, like PS2, PS3 days when I was playing games a little more. This is the hardest racing game I've ever played. The controls are so sensitive that it's just so like, and I've been my thumb is calloused. Like I have like that like burning feeling on my thumb from like mashing the button. Man, it's tough. Fun. I like the challenge. And the graphics are just the shits, but that, that's part of the nostalgia of it.
When you drive Jeff Gordon into the wall, do you feel bad? Like a little tear drops out of your eye?
Well, it wasn't Jeff Gordon that crashed into a wall.
I just mean in general.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't making a Dale Earnhardt show. I just
seemed
making
like
a
you
joke about
were.
how shitty it is that you're probably playing because it's so sensitive. And I assume you're playing Jeff Gordon. I assume you're crashing a lot. So.
I have been Jeff Gordon. I like to mix it up. I'm a lot of different people. I got my first win at Talladega with Tony Stewart. Just mixing it up, having fun.
That's what life's about, pal.
Yeah. Sore thumbs and having fun.
Absolutely.
Welcome to N64.
On December 29th, 1991, a 28-year-old accountant named Colleen Reed spent her morning volunteering at the Lower Colorado River Authority in Austin, where she also worked. She went to church with her boyfriend, Oliver Guerra. They had lunch together. Colleen wasn't feeling well, so she went home and took a nap. She called Oliver around 7 that evening and said that she was feeling better and was going to go run some errands. She went to the Whole Foods on Lamar, bought groceries, and then drove to a self-serve car wash on the 1500 block of West 5th Street. She got there around 9 o'clock at night. Kenneth and a guy named Alva Hank Worley. This is kind of like his, like a mini oddest tool, Remember?
Yeah.
Otis.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. This is kind of like a partner in crime to a degree, and this guy's just as big of a piece of shit as Kenneth.
I forgot his name was Otis and not Otis.
That's right. Yeah, it's Otis, but
Yeah.
it's spelled Otis.
That pissed me off all over again now.
That gets the side eye look.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was Otis. They were just too dumb to know how to pronounce it.
So Kenneth and this Alva Worley guy drove to Austin that night looking for drugs. They cruised the university area and the bars on 6th Street. On their way back, Kenneth drove past a car wash and saw Colleen washing her car by herself. He circled the block twice. On the first pass, he nearly hit two brothers named Mike and Chris Goins. On the second, he nearly hit another guy named Steve Marks. Then he pulled into the bay next to Colleen's. Kenneth got out, walked over, grabbed Colleen by the throat, and lifted her up off the ground so her toes were touching the ground, and threw her in the back seat and told Hank to drive.
Pretty brazen, man.
No impulse control. I think we kind of said that a lot on part one, if I remember correctly. And
none.
Well, if there's anybody who's going to be feeling confident, it's this guy who just never has to face any repercussions.
yeah, and remember, he never did it from birth. His mom
Yeah.
let him get away with everything he ever did.
Oh.
It's just that classic story of him just feeling invincible. Him more so than anybody else, maybe, ever, that we talked about.
Yeah. Yeah, and she was forking out all that money for the lawyers to get him out.
Yeah.
My Kenny's such a good boy. She's pistol packing mama, right?
Yeah.
Pistol pack.
Ada.
Yeah, she would show up with a gun to school and whatnot.
I think
nice.
she called him her little Kenny Poo, probably. Putting that out there, at least.
We'll go with it.
Pistol packing mama. Pretty sure I banged a girl once, and
Yeah.
a townie at the bar. It wasn't a college girl, a townie. She called herself the pistol packing mama. I packed her with my pistol.
And shot your load.
No, too drunk, couldn't finish.
He just gave up.
Yeah, it's like, you know what? It's time to go. Why don't you get off my futon? Head home, toots.
It's been 5 hours.
Dripping sweat. There's stains all over the futon from just sweat. ESPN, of course, is on. No one died that night, though, luckily. It was just a good old-fashioned whiskey dick.
Mike's such a badass that his version of whiskey dick just means he can't come after 5 hours. It doesn't mean there's a problem getting erect or anything.
Yeah, you just lose sensation. You're too drunk. You can't feel anything. You just want a cheesy gordita crunch and to sleep.
I know the feeling.
Just saw a new Dan Soder bit that I'm not going to do it justice, but it's a whole thing about how at 40 right now, like he still loves sex. But if you offered him good sleep, he's going to take that over good sex. I'm like, oh, I feel you, man. That sounds fantastic.
Something to be said for good sleep. I haven't seen a lot of it lately, so I get it.
Oh, I sleep like shit.
So Hank drove north toward I-35. Kenneth tied Colleen's hands behind her back with shoelaces, and he burnt her with lit cigarettes, raped her. They both did. And at some point, they ended up on a dirt road north of Belton, near land owned by Kenneth's mother, of course. And Kenneth dragged Colleen out of the car and hit her in the face. Hank said that the sound was like a tree limb breaking. She went limp, and Kenneth put her in the trunk. Kenneth drove Hank back to his sister's house in Belton. Before he left, Kenneth asked to borrow a pocket knife and a shovel. Hank said that was the last time he saw Colleen alive. Kenneth told Hank he was going to, quote, use her up.
Dude, these people like this.
And that's one of the things with this story. I didn't know when I got into it, like, what exactly we were going to be talking about. Like, I knew there was this parole board craziness. And like part one is what he did in part one is really bad, right? He broke that girl's neck and stuff. But then when I started getting into part two, I'm like, oh man, we're gonna like this. This is actually really rough. Like I probably wouldn't have picked this if I knew some of this stuff beforehand.
We say it all the time. This kind of stuff's just not. I mean, obviously, it's not fun to talk about, but it's not fun to like do a show about because it bums you out, right? Like.
Well, it's completely self-inflicted, too. We had the guy. There was no need for him to go anywhere.
Right.
No, and that's kind of what, goes back to part one. I know we were talking about. It's like these lawyers that took money from his mom, they know damn well what he is.
Yeah.
Like, fuck those people.
I will tell you, if I ever stumble upon a genie and I get those wishes, well, the first one will be that men like this who prey on women will incinerate, like from the inside out.
Just like
during a 5-minute period. Yeah. Just slow burn from the inside out.
Like a rapture kind of thing. Like it just happens.
Yeah. Just turn to ash all around the world. Every single one of them.
Does it go into effect like all men who have previously done it, but then anybody who's going to future do it? Or as soon as they engage in the behavior, it happens?
Oh, well, the genie will give me power. So it will be like Minority Report where you can see the crime in the future. And anyone who's prone to that in the future, it will happen to them as well. They will suffer the same fate.
Okay. Wow, that's a hell of a wish. What's number 2? Like unlimited money on mgmbet.com or whatever.
FanDuel codes or whatever.
Just go the complete opposite way. Unlimited funds on FanDuel.com. The genie's like, really? The guy with the hands on the hips in the crowd look.
That sounds great.
And number 3 is a good night's sleep. Mm-hmm. Just one good night's sleep.
Death to abusers, the ability to call any parlay, and then some sleep. Sounds great. What else do you want?
I like it better when it's not the ability to call a parlay, just the funds. Like you don't have the ability to win the bets. Yeah. You just get the funds.
Yeah. So whether I win or lose, I get paid out every time.
Yeah. It just replenishes. It replenishes.
It'd be cool. It'd allow me to keep going, but all right, I'll work on that, genie.
Just start rubbing every lamp you see.
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, a real weirdo over there. Why is that guy rubbing the lamp?
Fuck off. Don't worry about it.
Just let him go. He's working on something.
Trying to get my 3 wishes, bitch.
There were witnesses at the car wash that had seen this whole thing and called the police. And again, with the impulse control, because this isn't a bad area where these guys feel protected, like the open air drug place, right? Like this was in quote unquote a good area or whatever, you know what I mean? Colleen's car was found the next day, still covered in soap with her purse, keys, and glasses inside. Her case was featured on Unsolved Mysteries on February 26, 1992. It was like, you know, your classic Unsolved Mystery story. Nobody had a bad thing to say about her. Nothing in her life suggested that she would be a target of anything.
Wrong place, wrong time. Just choose to wash your car one night.
Yep. So weird, right? That makes you I don't know. That makes you think about fate. Like,
sure.
When I'm smoking weed and shit and reading these stories and like writing about this stuff, some of that stuff is like, yeah, like what? I don't know. Like what terrible fucking timing to be her and why her?
Yeah.
This is why I don't smoke weed. I don't want to think about it. I don't need any of that.
It's just I don't know. Yeah. I don't know.
That's why you rip Camel Blues over there.
Rip a fucking Dairy Queen Blizzard.
There you go.
That sounds better.
Banana milkshake.
I only like to be high at night when, like, for sex. I don't like to be stoned during the day. Me personally, that's me.
I wouldn't know. I'm straight edge.
It's just like an evening out thing for me.
Yeah. Can I say that? It's a family show? It's not a family show.
Well, we were working on that PG rating.
Yeah.
Waiting for Bath and Body Works to call us for the sponsorship after all of our candle love.
Yeah.
For real. That would be cool.
Our email's open.
Hit us up.
CEO of Bath and Body.
Yes, I still do the sex. I'm not that old, so don't even bother commenting that, funny people.
Just trying to get ahead of that one.
Yeah. Okay. As soon as I said that, I envisioned the comments after. I'm like, nope, gonna head that off.
You still
don't make them anyway.
Still do a sex. It's the sleep you're not doing. That's what you need the help with.
I'm not doing. Yeah.
Sex is just fine. If anyone can offer you a good pillow, you'd take that.
2 months later, on February 24th, 1992, a 22-year-old woman named Valencia Joshua was last seen knocking on Kenneth's dorm room door at Texas State Technical College. Again, I don't know, man. Like, even there's a guy named Gary Levine. I don't know how you say his last name exactly, but he wrote a book on this case. He was a reporter in it too. So this fucking 40-year-old dude's just living here.
A convicted triple murder on parole.
Yeah. Such a weird story.
Sorry, I was reading that and it came out of my mouth. Like I became the narrator all of a sudden.
So Kenneth ended up strangling her, and her body was found on March 15th at a golf course near campus. Then on March 1st, less than a week after Valencia, Kenneth went to a Quick Pack convenience store in Waco at the corner of New Road and I-35. He had worked there for a while, making $4 an hour. He knew about the place. He knew the schedule. He had talked to people about wanting to rob the store and, quote, take the overnight clerk. So another instance in this story, like, maybe you should just tell somebody, like, this guy's talking like this.
Yeah, who are these people? He talked to people. Oh, yeah, I'm going to rob that place and take the clerk. Okay.
A college friend later told police that Kenneth had tried to get him to help with the robbery. The clerk was a 22-year-old woman named Melissa Northrup. Melissa was a mother of 2 and pregnant with her 3rd child. Kenneth kidnapped her from the store and took $250 from the register. Melissa's husband tried calling the store that night and got no answer. He drove to the Quick Pack and found it empty. Melissa was gone and the register had been cleaned out. McLennan County Sheriff's deputies showed up, and at first they thought that this was a robbery and abduction, which it was, but they didn't know who they were necessarily looking for. You know what I mean? 2 days later, on March 3rd, they found Kenneth's broken down 1985 Thunderbird at a motel a block from the store. On March 8th, a week after Melissa disappeared, her car was found abandoned near a gravel pit in Seagoville, south of Dallas. The seat had been pushed all the way back. There were no fingerprints. Everything was wiped clean. 51 days after Melissa was taken from that store, on April 26th, a fisherman found her body in a water-filled gravel pit in southeast Dallas County, about a quarter mile from where the car had been left, 90 miles north of Waco. She had been strangled with a rope, and her hands were still tied behind her back.
A lot of murder, Dave.
A lot of it. Wait till I find that genie, people.
You're all done for.
All going to burn from the inside.
I have yet to see you rub one lamp. Al, it's been like 4.5 minutes.
There's no lamps in here.
Well, I don't know. There's a ceiling light. From that. You might burn your fingers.
One of the biggest problems for law enforcement was that Kenneth's victims were spread across multiple Texas counties. No single department was looking at all of these cases at the same time, but there were people connecting the dots. This kind of falls into like that Texas killing fields kind of thing almost too. This, everything's so spread out and
it's hard to cover all that.
Yeah.
It's fucking Texas. Everything is spread out. And their stupid water burgers.
You love saying that, don't you?
I just don't get why they say Whataburger. People got real fired up. They're like, no, it's Whataburger. And I'm like, yes, I agree. But why do people call it Whataburger? And honestly, it's mediocre food, by the way. Sorry to say it. Someone had to finally go on record and say it.
That somebody was you.
Mm-hmm.
Who better what better expert on planet Earth than you to assess?
True. I will say it's been about 13 years.
Okay.
Maybe they've upped their game.
All
I
right.
don't know. No, more than that. Almost 2009.
17 years ago.
17 years it's been. Okay.
I will tell you another one of your favorites, Wendy's.
Man, what happened?
Spicy chicken sandwich has been on a media advertising blitz, and I see one every day over and over on TV, and I think I might have to get one this week.
2 things on that.
I don't know what you're talking about. But,
well, I thought you were going to bring up the one closing on 18.
I didn't even know that closed.
Overnight, they closed off. Yes.
What?
I know. I was like on a first name basis with those. Shout out to Louie and Sal.
Damn. They're in Wendy's is like having financial trouble.
Wow.
They closed a bunch of stores.
Yeah. I drove by the other day and like the windows are all like blocked up. And I'm like, what the fuck happened?
I had seen a news article that they were going to be closing a bunch of stores this year. Yeah.
What are you going to do, pal?
Well, I'm going to continue to eat at Wendy's. There's another one in town. I got to back up. Speaking of that spicy chicken, I had not seen any ads. And I recently went to a Wendy's and grabbed one. And when I unwrapped it, I was like, what is this? Stay tuned to my blog.
Okay. Very good.
I will just say you should go get one.
I will get one this week because they've been those ads, those food ads, get me a lot of times.
Oh, they know what
advertising
they're doing.
works.
Like, look at this fat fuck looking at his phone. He always stops a second longer when it's a cheeseburger.
Oh,
or a
they
sandwich.
know.
Have you had it yet, Ian?
No.
Yeah. All right. That might be the first blog I do.
All right.
Gives me an excuse to go buy another one and eat it.
There seems to be a push to improve the quality of fast food stuff after like that eating challenge with McDonald's, the CEOs, and Burger
when he
King
took
and
that little
Wendy's and all
beta
that.
bitch bite. Yeah.
Because I had
Fucking nerd.
Dude, that was a cuck bite. Cuck bite.
That shit was terrible.
I had a Whopper, a double Whopper with cheese.
We
last
talked
week.
about this, I think.
Oh, on the show, I already said it. It was so fucking
Dude,
good.
I
was
think the
awesome.
Whopper is so slept on. It is, and it's huge.
Yeah.
They're big.
I really enjoyed it. They're really doing some work and trying to make the quality of things better.
Like Wendy's, though, Burger King needs to get rid of that shredded fucking cheese. Or I'm sorry, shredded lettuce. I think McDonald's does it. Most of them do it.
Yeah.
I hate that shredded lettuce.
It's easier.
It's always like soggy. It gets brown quicker. It's just a mess. I can't stand it. And that's what pissed me off when Wendy's switched. And I think they're trying to make up for it now with this new and improved spicy chicken. So,
Okay.
all right, I'll say no more. You can read about it in my blog.
I can't wait.
My flog, a food blog. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Each and every one of us has experienced financial stress at some point in our lives. In fact, many of us are dealing with financial stress right now. A recent poll showed that 88% of Americans felt some form of financial stress at the start of 2026. And this type of burden can take a real toll on our mental health and our relationships. Money worries often bring anxiety, sleep disruption, and even depression, and are one of the leading sources of conflicts for couples. This month, we want to normalize the emotional weight of financial stress and remind people that struggling with money doesn't mean they failed. Sometimes it's just about accepting the right kind of support. Obviously, therapy can't provide financial advice or manage your money. But what it can do is help you manage the stress, shame, or anxiety that can come with it. Therapy can help people unpack their relationships with money, build healthier coping strategies, and feel less alone in the process. If this sounds like it could be helpful to you, why not give BetterHelp a shot? BetterHelp has been helping people find their match for over 12 years, having served over 6 million people globally, and has a 4.9 out of 5 rating with 1.7 million client session reviews. If you're looking for quality, BetterHelp therapists work according to a strict code of conduct and are fully licensed. With over 30,000 therapists, BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform. And to get started, all you need to do is fill out a brief questionnaire, and you'll be matched with a therapist that is tailored to fulfill your needs. When life feels overwhelming, therapy can help. Sign up and get 10% off at betterhelp.com/necro. That's betterhelp.com/necro.
U.S. Marshals Parnell and Mike McNamara were deputy marshals working out of the Waco division. Their father, T.P. McNamara, had been the deputy U.S. Marshal who arrested Kenneth alongside Brady Pamplin back in 1966. Remember, those were the guys that everybody in town was kind of like, man, you should have fucking killed him when you had the chance.
Yeah.
So that's their dads we're talking about in part one. Now
They grew up and took their place.
Yeah.
T.P. McNamara, got to be a badass with a cowboy hat, right?
Yeah, and those like boots that make you a little taller. And all that.
Yeah, that's a cool name.
As women started disappearing along the I-35 corridor, Parnell and McNamara started pushing other agencies to look at Kenneth because they knew what was coming. I think, if I remember correct, in part one, there was a quote that when women start missing, look at him.
There absolutely was.
Yeah.
They knew.
Like we said, though, the problem was that every victim was in a different county, so no single department was looking at this as a pattern, but the McNamara's did. They worked with the U.S. Attorney Bill Johnson in Waco and eventually put together a Central Texas task force. Bell County, McLennan County, the ATF, and the United States and the U.S. Marshal Service all focused on Kenneth.
About time, right?
Yeah. For a while, they didn't have enough evidence for a warrant. It was Johnson who figured out a way to get that. He started asking around Kenneth's people he hung out with around the college, and that's how he found out that Kenneth had sold a tab of LSD to another student, which was a federal offense. That gave them the federal jurisdiction for that warrant, and on March 6th, 1992, they went ahead and issued that. So what the McNamara's did when they would sit people down, like these associates of Kenneth's, because when I say associates, we're not talking about other college kids. Like, we're talking about piece of shit people that are,
co-dealers.
Right. And they're all criminals, right? A lot of career criminals. But most of them knew that he had killed someone in the past, and they're the type of people that are willing to look past it. Like, whatever.
People with tattoos.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. They all definitely have tattoos, they do.
That checks.
So the McNamara's would talk about this, but then they would tell these people he killed somebody, but they would tell him what he actually did and how it was this teenage girl. He broke her neck with the broomstick and how brutal. And it kind of seemed to get a reaction from some of these people like, oh, wow, I didn't know it was like that.
Yeah. So dad's working with son. T.P. McNamara and his son.
Yes.
All right. Is Parnell still helping out too?
I believe so.
All right. Hell of a team.
The first real break came through a Bell County deputy named Tim Steglish. Tim got a tip from a Texas Department of Corrections investigator named John Moriarty that Kenneth had a friend named Hank Worley, and the two of them liked to go ride around and hang out together. Tim tracked Hank down and found out that he had a civil hearing coming up in April of 1992. Tim caught Hank on his way out of court and asked him if they could talk. Hank agreed at the time, but he didn't say much. Then one evening, Tim got a call. It was Hank. He said that he needed to talk. Tim went to pick him up, and Hank walked up to the car and said, quote, "I was with McDuff when he took that girl in Austin." Then he asked if he could say goodbye to his daughter because he knew that he was not coming back home. At the Bell County Sheriff's Department, Hank told them everything. All the stuff we talked about earlier, what they did to Colleen at the car wash. And by this point in the story, Kenneth, he's already on the run. He left Texas, got a fake ID under the name Richard Fowler, and moved to Kansas City, Missouri. He was working as a garbage collector. Nobody knew where he was. He got tipped off that it was coming.
It's honest work, finally.
Instead of dealing crack and stuff.
Right. Sounds like a rehabilitation story on deck. Turning his life around. One trash bag at a time.
On May 1st, 1992, a garbage collector in Kansas City named Gary Smithy was watching America's Most Wanted on Fox. Kenneth's face came up on the screen, and Gary's like, oh, shit, I recognize this dude. Like, this is Richard Fowler.
Shit, that's Dick.
John Walsh got bagging another one.
Man. I know he got some flack for, like, some of the things he said with, like, I think Casey Anthony, like some of like the sensationalist shit.
Oh yeah,
with like Nancy Grace, but
I'm Nancy Grace.
Even with that, like the amount of good work that dude did, catching people, it's crazy.
Speaking of sensational Casey Anthony, how about that sensational ass?
Yeah,
goddamn,
still doing work after all these years. Still to this day. Doing work.
I haven't actually seen her ass in quite some time since the Disney photos leaked. Now all of her videos are her sitting in her car, preaching about legal rights and whatnot.
Isn't she up in New Hampshire or something?
No, I don't.
She's somewhere else now.
I think we've talked about her being up there for something, but I don't know if she lives there. I assume she's probably back in Florida.
Somebody emailed us and said she's in their town. That happens every time.
Well, then send us photos of that dump truck.
Yeah, what are you doing? Get your telephoto lens and get out there and do some work
or
for
just,
the show.
I don't know, fucking get behind her at the ATM and just start snapping photos. It's very simple.
I will send you a necro hoodie.
That's what I would do.
Yeah. There's a necro hoodie in it for you if you can get a live action shot of Casey's dumper within the last 5 days.
Oh, God, please don't go stalk anybody. We are not condoning that.
I didn't say stalk anything. I said a photo. If you can get her pussy on film, then that'll be an even 2 hoodies.
Mr. Flint, that would be something even you couldn't do.
That's right. I failed. It was my last mission in life, and then I died. No beaver. I died beaverless.
Jeez. All right, Leia, let's roll him out of here. Back in the closet.
The day we're recording it is International Beaver Day, April 7th. So happy Beaver Day, everybody.
Happy Beaver Day to you too, Mr. Flint. All right, it's nap time.
Gary called the Kansas City police. They pulled up the name Richard Fowler and found that he'd been arrested and fingerprinted for soliciting sex workers. So he was honest work, but he was still fucking around. Mm-hmm. And they ran the prints against Kenneth, and they matched. On May 4th, 1992, a team of 6 officers arrested Kenneth as he drove to a landfill south of Kansas City. The arresting team included Parnell and Mike McNamara, as well as Falls County Sheriff Larry Pamplin, Brady's son. It's like everybody's just
nice.
Like fucking karma. We got you.
Yeah.
His capture became America's Most Wanted's 208th successful capture. Man.
It's impressive.
John Walsh turned something that would like fucking crush anybody and like turned it into something awesome.
It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Yep.
And that's full circle too, because remember stupid ass Otis Toole claimed that he killed John Walsh's kid?
That's right. Yeah. Otis. Go fuck yourself. Your bones are going to incinerate from the inside out when I get my first pal.
You just
care
wait.
If you're dead.
You just wait.
Fuck.
Kenneth was indicted for the capital murder of Melissa Northrup in McClellan County on June 26, 1992. Hank Worley was the state's key witness. He testified about the night that they took Colleen, how Kenneth grabbed her at the car wash, all the stuff that we talked about. The prosecution was also allowed to bring in details of the 1966 murders as well. So they heard about Robert and Mark. Those were the boys that he killed in that trunk. And then Edna, the girl he killed with the broomstick. They also had Hank testify about Colleen's abduction to establish a pattern, showing the jury that the way Melissa was taken matched the way Kenneth had operated and done this before.
There you go. I forgot about the broomstick, and they called him the broomstick killer. I forgot about all about that. Jerk off.
Kenneth, against the advice of his own lawyers, took the stand.
Of course he did.
I always love, when I get to these parts in the story with some of these serial killers, I'm like, oh yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
Shit's about to pop off.
Yeah.
Let's cement the conviction.
He denied having anything to do with it. He said he wasn't anywhere near Waco when Melissa disappeared. He was super rude and disruptive during the whole trial, as you could imagine. I think every single one of these guys that's ever defended themselves is always super confrontational and shit. But on February 12th, 1993, the jury found Kenneth guilty of murdering Melissa Northrup. And on February 18th, they sentenced him to die by lethal injection.
Well, I sentenced him to die by internal incineration. So what about that?
He was tried a second time for the murder of Colleen Reed. This one was harder for the prosecution because Colleen's body still hadn't been found. At the time, Texas law had only recently been changed to allow murder convictions without a body, and there was almost no case law for the judge to work with. The conviction rested on Hank Worley's testimony and the witnesses from the car wash. Mike Goins identified Kenneth from a photo as the man who almost ran him over that night. I remember he was circling around the block looking for Colleen, and this Mike Goins kid almost got ran over by him. There's also physical evidence, including blood and hairs that match Colleen's that were found in Kenneth's car. Colleen's sister, Lori Bible, was very clear about what she wanted from this trial. If the Northrup conviction was ever overturned on appeal, the Reed conviction would make sure that Kenneth never got out again. Because you wouldn't think that he would, but he had already escaped once. He has already escaped death row once.
Yeah.
On February 23rd, 1994, the jury found Kenneth guilty, and on March 1st, he was sentenced to death again. Kenneth was the only person in Texas history to be sentenced to death row twice. Hank Worley pleaded guilty to aggravated sexual assault in Colleen's case and got 40 years. The murder and kidnapping charges were dropped as part of his deal. For the next several years, Kenneth sat on death row and gave up nothing. He never showed any remorse for any of this shit, never confessed. Then, in the weeks before his execution, that changed, but not because he felt bad. The McNamara brothers cultivated an informant inside the prison over the course of several weeks, and that informant worked on Kenneth. Kenneth started talking. He drew maps that led investigators to the remains of Brenda Thompson and Regina Moore in McLennan County. A U.S. attorney named Bill Johnson, who we talked about earlier, had been working with the McNamara since '92, said a blindfolded person could have found those two graves. But Kenneth wouldn't give up Colleen. He held on to that one. He told authorities he would only reveal Colleen's location if they guaranteed he would not lose his commissary privileges.
You got to get your ramen noodles.
I hate these guys so much. But you have to agree to him, right?
What are you going to do?
Because he knows where it is. He knows well enough that he drew a map specific, like directed right to.
Yeah. He's the only one that can tell you. So
right.
You got to play his game.
They agreed. So Kenneth was taken off death row on what was described as a, quote, clandestine high security move and driven out so he could direct investigators to the spot. They were told to look near a Brazos River bridge between two gravel roads in Falls County, but there was no clear landmark beyond that. A bulldozer operator spent most of the day gently scraping away layers of the riverbank without finding anything. Then Kenneth's informant started dropping hints, move closer to the bridge, look for a cleared area, basically telling them when they were hot, when they were cold. When they finally found the grave, Mike McNamara said it was one of the most emotional moments of the investigation. He said that they had all kind of come to think of Colleen as a sister. Before his execution, Kenneth officially confessed to 8 murders. The 3 from 1966, Robert, Mark, and Edna, and 5 from the second spree, Colleen, Melissa, Brenda, Regina, and another one that he didn't name. But investigators believe the real number is closer to 14. We talked about on part 1, Sophia Parker. She was found beaten and strangled in a field in Temple 3 days after Kenneth's release. His parole officer was based in Temple, and he was in the area. So it was almost certainly him that did that. And remember, she was 9 years old, I feel like. That was a massive impulse thing. And it seems like a lot of these guys have, like, somewhere in there a child that's super impulsive.
Like Ramirez with that 9-year-old.
Yeah. There's also some other ones that investigators believe that Kenneth is responsible. In January of 1990, a 28-year-old woman named Denise Mason was found beaten and strangled in Austin. In July of 1991, a homemaker named Vernia Blunson disappeared from Temple, never found. In September 1991, 23-year-old Cynthia Gonzalez disappeared from an Arlington car wash. She owned an adult entertainment business and was on her way to deliver a strippergram.
Do they still do that? Strippergrams? Like, can you order that kind of thing?
I don't know.
I feel like that might have even been before our time. You've never sent me a strippergram, Dave. I can tell you that much.
Would you like me to?
Well, I don't know. Birthdays and such. It's a big thing. You could send a strippergram.
I wonder if you can still do that.
I'm sure it's probably really, it's got to be like regulated, right?
They got that on DoorDash now?
I don't know. That seems very dangerous for said stripper.
Yeah, that's probably not the best.
I think you can't even have lap dances in Ohio at the strip club. Like 15 years ago, there was some porn addict that found Jesus and found his way into the Ohio legislature and got them to pass a strip club law that you can't touch or be within a certain number of feet of a stripper.
That's the most Ohio sentence of all time.
He couldn't control himself, so no one else is allowed to have fun. So I don't think they really enforce it unless they want to be dickheads. But yeah,
lap dances are illegal. Well, touching is illegal.
Touching is
lap
illegal.
dance technically isn't, but it'd be touching, so it can't.
But I think the distance they have to stay away is something ridiculous that wouldn't even allow for something
For
related
something
to
like
a
that.
lap dance. So I wonder, that probably doesn't apply in your home if there's such a thing as a strippergram. I'm gonna send one to myself tomorrow, so we'll see.
Send one to myself.
Oh, hello! I'd like to send my pal Dave a strippergram to celebrate International Beaver Day.
I've never been a big strip club fan. Not a big. It's just not my thing.
Yeah.
The beer is usually more expensive. I'm like, I don't know. I feel uncomfortable in this environment.
It's been a long, long time.
Yeah.
I don't know what goes on in those places any longer.
Well, apparently nothing. They're just all fucking
Allegedly.
sitting 50 yards away looking at a woman with binoculars.
Well, prostitution's illegal too. I mean, it doesn't really mean that much, but
The last victim is Valencia Joshua, who we covered her earlier. And she's all but confirmed to have been killed by him, but he never confessed to her. And she's not the unspoken for one. So I like all these guys. He reminds me a lot of Israel Keys too, with keeping secrets and shit.
Yeah. He might not even
Fuck
remember.
off. Yeah, that's true too. On September 17th, 1998, Kenneth was executed by lethal injection at the Huntsville unit in Texas. He was 52. His last meal was 2 T-bone steaks. And his last words were, quote, "I'm ready to be released. Release me."
Can you give me some relief?
As soon as I saw Dave go for the board, I was like, I know exactly what he's going to play. And I started laughing. T-bone steaks are overrated.
Very much so.
Okay. Guess that wasn't as controversial as I thought.
Let's get the porterhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I don't need all that.
No. Okay.
That was easy.
Yeah.
That's consensus.
We unanimously agreed.
Consensus builder. How about that?
I thought I might have caused a debate there. Nope. Stamped. That's necro approved. Fuck you if you get a T-bone steak.
Melissa's mother, Brenda Solomon, told the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, quote, "I feel wonderful. I know where he was released to."
There you go. I agree.
Nobody from Kenneth's family came to claim his body, not his mother, Addie, not any of his 4 sisters. He was buried in the Captain Joe Bird Cemetery in Huntsville, the prison graveyard, also known as Peckerwood Hill. His headstone has the date of his execution and his death row number. No name on it or anything like that.
Damn.
Shame.
Kenneth's case kind of broke the Texas criminal justice system open. The anger wasn't just about Kenneth. It was about every decision that let him out and all the people who signed off on it, right? Because there are a lot of people who died because of...
Absolutely.
Of
That
all
wasn't
of
one
this.
person. That went through, that crossed a lot of people's desks.
Yeah. The Texas legislature passed new laws requiring that inmates convicted of capital murder serve a minimum of 35 years before becoming eligible for parole. They built drug and alcohol rehabilitation centers to house 12,000 inmates, freeing up prison space for violent offenders so the state would never have to choose between overcrowding and releasing, killers. The parole board was restructured. The full 18-member board was now required to vote on parole eligibility for violent offenders. No more 2 out of 3 panel decisions like the one that let Kenneth walk.
It's a lot harder to buy off 18 people, right?
Yeah. Fucking 2 out of 3. That's so crazy.
Whatever.
Collectively, all these changes were called the McDuff rules. They should have named them after one of the victims. Kind of weird, but whatever.
Yeah, that's true.
The parole board chairman who voted to release Kenneth, James Granberry, was convicted of federal perjury. Several other board members were investigated and or convicted for taking payments. A former parole board member could walk out of the parole office and immediately start working as a private consultant, helping the same inmates whose files they had just been reviewing get released. No other state agency in Texas allowed that. After Kenneth, the system that allowed it was exposed and dismantled. We talked about this a bunch on part 1. Dave, you said it like how this isn't really a glitch in the system, right? There were a lot of people let out because of overcrowding issues. There's a lot more. Jim Parker, the legislative director for Governor Ann Richards, said, quote, "The oddity isn't that we have a McDuff. It's that we don't have hundreds of McDuffs."
Yeah, no shit.
That is the story of Kenneth McDuff.
Man, what a piece of shit, huh?
Yeah.
I don't really think I like him.
So you're okay with us killing that guy?
Well, and we did give him how many chances? 15?
Yes, many.
I'm in favor of a system that is consistent and that works.
Agree.
I will leave it at that.
That's fine. We can leave it there. Well, I'm glad he's off the planet personally.
Yeah, we don't need him around.
Doesn't seem like a swell guy. I wouldn't hang out with him. He certainly wouldn't get a beer on my tab at the local watering hole.
Yeah.
They had the board at the Wrecking Crew. You can buy someone a beer. Next time I'm up there, I'm going to buy one for Kenneth McDuff and put it up there. I'm going to put it from Mike Nalapod. You sure about that?
One person will get that, maybe. maybe 5.
Well, thank you for this fine glimpse into the humanity of a real nice gentleman, Ian.
Yeah.
Always appreciate that.
That was something.
I know. If I knew how off the rails it got, some of it I would have skipped out on it.
You were just trying to have a good parole conversation.
Yeah, I thought we were going to get into a lot of corruption, and then there is a lot of corruption, but man, he just not a good person.
No.
What became of Ada?
His mom.
Yeah, Pistol Pack.
Addie.
Addie. Sorry, not Ada.
Pistol
I
Pat.
don't know. Then no one claimed him.
It's like Homer backing into the bushes, right? Oh.
Yeah.
Anyone here to claim Kenneth McDuff's body? McDuff?
Which is very convenient, right?
Yeah.
You spent your whole life fucking making excuses for him and
Exactly.
trying to get him out of prison.
Should make you come pick this motherfucker up. Display him in your front yard. Take ownership.
But then he might have had a proper, decent burial. Instead, he's thrown in a prison yard.
That's true.
Not even like a date of birth, just his death date and his inmate number. Like, that's better.
Yeah. On Peckerwood Hill.
On Peckerwood Hill. Okay.
Fuck you, Kenneth.
Good riddance.
Goodbye. Anything else to talk about that's a little more uplifting, happy? We're all feeling great now. We love the system.
No, I don't have anything uplifting at the current state.
All right, you're just saving that last martini olive there?
Yeah, but I don't want another. That was 3 olives. I'm good for the night.
You're just throwing that one away?
Yeah, it's going to throw in the garbage, I guess. You want it? You can
No,
have it
thank
if
you.
want.
I was not hinting. I was just making conversation.
It's a little dried out now.
Okay. Is that heartburn in the morning for you? Olives?
No.
No? Okay, that's good.
Nope.
Ian, anything else on your end that you found research-wise? Anything we should discuss, get into?
No.
I know you said that one, what was it, the guy wrote the book on it?
Yeah.
Vernian, something.
Yeah. I'll find it while we're going through the Patreon stuff. I'll find the book.
Okay. If anyone wants to dive in more. All right, well, let's start the day. What do you got on the old Patreon?
A quick reminder here before we go into the new patrons. If you feel like signing up for Patreon, do it on the website, not on the Apple iOS app, because they charge you that 30% fee on top of the Patreon subscription. So do yourself a favor. Get on the website, use the desktop version, sign up there, get your login, go back, then you can log in on the iOS app, and you avoid that 30% surcharge.
And while you're signing up, go over to necronomicpod.com, sign up for email updates. Get notified every time we post something new on the website, show updates, all that good stuff.
You don't want to miss Mike's B-log.
My F-log.
F-log too?
Philog. My philog.
Having said that, thank you, new patrons, Sarah Thixton, Sav Arts, Will Moeller, Ben Polston, Lickin' Slit, Suckin' Tit.
That guy fucks. That guy also has a Dale Earnhardt tattoo. He has the 3 with the halo. What was that?
Lickin' Slit, Suckin' Tit. Well done. Ryan Dewar, Josh Shepard, Tyler Durden. You don't know where I've been, Lou. Thane Abramson, JC, Big Dill Energy. Getting folded like a lawn chair while you watch from the cuck chair. There's someone else that fucks right there.
God damn. Getting folded. So that's the wife.
Oh, yeah. Getting folded like a lawn chair while you watch from the cuck chair.
Wow.
Her Her husband's probably listening right now, like, I wonder who that loser is married to her.
That's good.
Caitlin Harbert, Dylan Hovland, Haley Gibson, Sarasaurus Wreck, Ian Rock Solid. I'm rock solid.
What's that about?
It's one of the sound clips, I think.
Oh, I don't remember that one.
I don't have it loaded. Damn it. Sorry.
Next week.
You're just like, I'm rock solid.
Why would I ever say that?
Probably from erotica.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, that doesn't sound like something I would say.
No.
You sure about that?
I am not hard in the slightest. There's no rock solid. It's definitely from erotica.
Oh, yeah.
That sounds like something one of those perverts would write.
Right.
I am rock solid.
Just like no context.
Yeah, right.
Sir Alfred II, Katie Green, Asham JME, MB. Mike, you need to start talking while the music fades out to ease us into necro overtimes. I mean, come on, man. A very specific opinion on the OT theme music.
Sounds like a post-production issue.
Yeah,
It's above my pay grade.
I purposely don't
Yeah.
fade it because I think it's funnier to
funnier.
cut it. I could fade it, but I choose not to.
Yeah, now we're never going to
Now we're leaving out of spite. It's going to be a spite hard cut.
Yeah.
That's what the doctor said when he looked at me and had to circumcise me. He's like, that's going to be a hard cut.
Benjamin Blankenberg, AAAA. That's 4 A's if you were counting. Chris Donahue, Golden Grams is the best cereal. I think you can make that argument. It's my number 2 cereal, but
Golden Grams.
it's only a close number 2.
It's been a while. You know what is delicious is a Golden Graham Rice Krispie treat.
I think I've had that probably at your house.
They're fucking
Yeah.
phenomenal.
That's good stuff. Cinnamon Toast Crunch has to be my number 1, but Golden Grams is a very close second, so I'm almost with you there. Grant Newton, Craig, Chaos and Clarity, Lacey Wesson, James, Maddie, Devin Gonzalez, Bring Da Ruckus 91, Pookie Peanut, Joel Cartwright, Sierra Bennett, Jeanette Wyckoff. Hey, Stone. Yeah, you. Stone Graham. Hi. Secret messages going on here. Lil Rascal, Angelina Douglas, the Gooner General of the 69th Com Brigade,
Don't start this again.
It's been a long time on that.
Stephanie Payne, and Jafito Grande. Thank you, new patrons. Heed my warning on the 30% Apple. Nobody wants to pay Apple 30%. Then go fuck themselves. Join on the website.
Speaking of names, whatever happened with the old cat fight that was happening on the Apple reviews over Dave? Remember there was going to be like a ladder match over like the women who loved you?
That was going back and forth for a while. It's been a while.
Yeah.
You don't get too many reviews on Apple anymore. Why don't you guys go put some good 5-star reviews out there? Be a pal. Prop us up a little bit.
Start a rivalry or feud with somebody else on Apple, and we'll fucking play that shit up like nobody's business. We'll book it like it's WrestleMania. But they all have to be 5-star, or we're disqualifying you.
Oh,
You're
it
out.
has
You're
to
the
be,
loser. Yeah. Ian, what about on your end? Anything else?
On Patreon, you just had your history corner, just did Mike's history corner on Virginia Hall.
We did do that. That was good. Closing out Women's History Month. That was a really fun show. She's badass. And I still stand by they need to make a movie strictly about her with Anne Hathaway.
I would watch that.
No.
Then we also did That Fucking Happen, Part 4.
Oh,
Part
it's fun.
4. Yeah,
That's
it was a good
right.
time.
If you want to hear me sounding like death with no voice, because we recorded that the night Chase Elliott won at Martinsville, and I apparently got a little excited and could not speak through most of that episode. Well, I speak.
Yeah.
It's just, sounds like our current Secretary of Health.
That's what it sounds like, Mike.
something quite like that. So go. That might be worth it alone. Just go check that out, and you can hear me sounding like a weirdo.
Left turns get me hard too.
I think that's giving me credit. I sounded worse than that, and so does he. But yeah, good stuff over on Patreon. March was a good month. And this month's a wrestling show month coming up. That's always a big one.
Yeah.
Speaking of rock hard, it's a wrestling month.
Oh, yeah.
And it's WrestleMania in a few weeks, Dave. You
Is
watching?
it?
What's your prediction?
That I will not watch. I
Okay.
predict I will have nothing to do with it, and I will have no idea what's happening.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to use the gimmick because I'm not paying ESPN fucking $70 a night
Fuck that.
It's back to pay-per-view stuff?
Oh, it's been.
because
Really?
they switched from Peacock to ESPN.
Yeah.
And they say, "Oh, you sign up for ESPN Plus to have access to it." Well, yeah, and then you got to pay.
What?
And after years, 2014, they went to Peacock, and the whole gimmick was $10 a month. You get the old archive
Right.
and every new pay-per-view, or now they're called premium live events, included. Now, nope. Back to $70. And this is all because fucking TKO bought them. It's all that UFC shit.
Doesn't our gimmick box have that?
I think it
It'll
should.
have it. It's
Oh,
just a
okay.
matter of, all that shit, some freezes and pauses. But yeah, it's going to be a gimmick thing for sure.
I'm so out of touch with wrestling anymore because of that and all,
Just
various
too much
other
bullshit.
issues. Yeah.
TKO taking over hasn't been good at all. But I'll tune in, and I'm the same. I'll keep up like just reading online, but I haven't watched Raw or SmackDown in months.
Yeah.
But-
I just see shit on Reddit. That's
Yeah,
about it.
I'll keep up enough and like that I'll put it on and then I'll just be doing other shit, but have it on in the background probably. If I'm even, who the fuck knows.
I saw a good clip of CM Punk ripping Pat McAfee the other day. I don't know if that was recent or not.
He did.
That
He had
was really funny.
He had a pipe bomb this past week calling Vince McMahon a weird old man.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah. He was, and his whole point was going after TKO for their ticket prices.
Yeah.
Because it's insane just to go to like a Monday Night Raw and their ticket sales are down like 20%. They're back in Vegas again, the second year in a row. Ticket sales were like down 18% from last year, which is why they brought John Cena back now. He's going to be the host of WrestleMania. And two, they had Punk do this thing about like, hey, maybe you should fucking lower ticket prices so that families can afford to go back to wrestling shows the way it always was. Which was one thing Vince McMahon actually did do is like, if you wanted to sit in shit seats, you could get them for like $25-$30.
Right. Just to be there.
You're paying $200-$250 for upper deck. No thanks.
Yeah.
Product ain't even that good. Wrestling talk.
All right.
Dave, anything else on your end?
Nothing for me, sir.
We are on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We are on YouTube again, active, all up to date with shows on YouTube. Check that out. Patreon.com/Necronomipod, Amazon.com, search Necronomipod for all of our merch, and the new and improved Necronomipod.com.
Real quick. Bad Boy from Rosebud, The Murderous Life of Kenneth McDuff.
Ah, there you go.
That's the book by Gary M. Laverne. All right, you guys ready for your cool down beer?
Cheers.